Hello there folks, my name is Spooks and welcome back to another episode of Box Office Chat. This is the show where we break down the top 5 domestic box office results, see where each movie landed, and see what each movie did. So let's get started. Number 5 was Begonia, making $5 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $6 million and its worldwide total to $11 million. The newest film from Yorgos Lanthimos and also the next collaboration between him and Emma Stone. It's also the new wide release this weekend, although even at that point it's really more of an expansion because the movie released the weekend prior. But still, even with that, I still didn't have high expectations for this movie going into the weekend. I doubt there were too many people thrilled to see this. It was mostly within the film community that the hype was here for this movie, mostly again Yorgos Lanthimos fans and those really in the film community who were really hyped up to see it, because despite a pretty solid marketing push, given the type of movie this is, I certainly saw way more promos than I was expecting to. I didn't think it would reach a huge audience, and it pretty much met my expectations this weekend. It pretty much made the money I thought it would, and not sure if it's gonna leg out to where it needs to, because apparently this is really expensive, $55 million. Critics really like it, but audiences are a bit divided. It got a B on CinemaScore, so we'll see how the movie legs out, but it's gonna need a lot of help to get where it needs to. But I'd still say this is a pretty impressive debut, all things considered. Yorgos Lanthimos still has his fans, and they still wanted to rush out to go and check out his latest movie, and the fact that it was able to crack the top 5 is still rather impressive. It's just, again, the budget and just the weekend they released this on really held it back for sure. Number 4 was K-pop Demon Hunters, making $5.9 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $24 million. The international numbers weren't reported, so the worldwide numbers stay the same. So while this wasn't as big as the sing-along release back in late August, I do think, the hype and initial rush and curiosity to go check it out on the big screen definitely died down. And Halloween, again, many families were out trick-or-treating or going to Halloween parties. They didn't have much time to go to the movies over Halloween, but still pretty impressive that this movie still cracked the top 5, even with being much less than prior before. Again, I think just putting it on this weekend specifically wasn't the best choice. Maybe put it on another slower weekend where that wasn't occupied by a big family holiday, and it might have done a bit better. Again, I think just most families were busy this weekend, but still there were still plenty of fans who decided to go check it out this weekend and make it enough to crack the top 5, which again is still mighty impressive and shows that there are still fans who want to see Huntrix on the big screen. Number 3 was Chainsaw Man Res Arc, making $6.2 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $30 million and its worldwide total to $130 million. So Chainsaw Man continues the trend we see with these anime films with their second weekend. It fell, but honestly it didn't fall as much as other anime films have. It only fell 66%, where mostly with these types of movies you see them falling like in the 70% range. So this movie actually held much better than I think most people thought. Again, I think most people, the word of mouth has just been that strong, and the fans have been really eager to go check it out, and maybe just more people are curious to go check these movies out given how popular the shows are. So hopefully this is a sign that maybe general audiences are warming up to these types of movies. Again, it's still a 66% drop. These movies are still very front loaded, but hopefully down the road we start seeing these movies having much stronger holds as the weeks go on, because this does seem like a good sign for anime films in the future in terms of their legs. And again, this movie is still like a huge phenomenon, 130 million worldwide for the Chainsaw Man movie. That is absolutely insane. Still one of the most popular shows out right now. Yeah, still doing very well. Number 2 was Regretting You, hey, that rhymed, making $7.8 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $27 million and its worldwide total to $50 million. So while it may have lost its number one estimated opening that was reported the day before, it still had a pretty solid weekend. It only fell 43%, which, given the reception this movie got, it's a godsend, let's be honest here. Again, the reviews were really, really bad. So it seemed like this movie was going to face some challenges, but hey, it prevailed. And while it's not going to be another It Ends With Us, it looks like Colleen Hoover may have a sleeper hit on her hands, as it's just $10 million away from doubling the $30 million budget worldwide. So, and if it can keep holding as well as it's done this weekend, again, I think it'll be a solid sleeper hit. It might even be able to stand itself apart from the big competition in November. Again, this is all just maybes and what's not. It's still not anywhere near It Ends With Us, and it's still not going to be as big as that movie, but I'd still argue that this is heading on the right path regardless. Again, it shows that the fans of the book may be satisfied, or it might even be reaching a wider audience, and people are just curious to go check the movie out. So again, nothing amazing, but definitely nothing horrendous here either. Certainly very promising signs for this movie. And finally, let's end the video off with the number one movie of the weekend, which was The Black Phone 2, making $8.3 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $61 million and its worldwide total to $105 million. Sorry, Mason Thames, unfortunately you are no longer the number one movie in America, as Mason Thames beat you to it with The Black Phone 2. I know, it's just soul-crushing Mason Thames, but in all seriousness, again, really, really impressive performance for The Black Phone 2. I don't think anyone's shocked that the horror movie benefited the most from Halloween being on this weekend, but still a 35% drop off. That is really, really impressive. Again, Halloween is like a slower time. Nobody goes to the movies on Halloween, so the fact that this movie was able to hold this well is really impressive. Again, it's the scary movie of the moment right now. People can't get enough. The word of mouth has been very strong, and it's certainly the biggest Blumhouse movie. They're popping champagne bottles over there right now. Honestly, really successful overperformance here, and I know Halloween has come and gone. Everybody's already getting into the other holiday festive spirit, but I think this movie's gonna stick around for quite a bit, because again, there's not many horror movies, at least on this level, until Five Nights at Freddy's in December. So this movie has another month pretty much all to itself. So don't be surprised if we see another Conjuring here, where this movie just sticks around, and I see no reason why. The reception, response, word of mouth has been really, really solid thus far, and it's been carrying it to some really solid heights. There's maybe even a chance it gets close to the original movie's performance. So gonna be interesting to see where the movie heads from this point forward. We'll see when it starts to really start slowing down, but it doesn't look to be happening anytime soon. Black Phone 2 is still a really solid hit right now. And those were your top 5 domestic box office results for this weekend, but we're not quite done yet, as we've got another week ahead of us and new movies hitting theaters. And this weekend we have one new major wide release, that film being Predator: Badlands, the third Predator film by filmmaker Dan Trachtenberg, where the Predator is the sole main character. He's stuck on pretty much the most deadliest planet in the galaxy, I assume, and he, alongside a companion played by Elle Fanning, have to survive and navigate the harsh landscape. Now, Dan Trachtenberg is 2 for 2 with these Predator films. Prey and Predator: Killer of Killers were both very successful and acclaimed on Hulu, so this is his first time getting to release one of these movies on the big screen, and I know a lot of people are excited and thrilled about it. The trailers have been well received, and a lot of the Predator fans are pretty excited to go see a new film, especially with the Predator as the main character. And that's all good said and done, but honestly, I'm not sure if this is gonna bring it this weekend. I don't think it's gonna be a disaster by any means, but I don't know. I'm not seeing the hype outside of the Predator fan base. I don't know too many people talking about this or fully aware that it's coming out. I do think the marketing has been a bit lackluster, which is surprising considering how they were able to sell Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and Alien Romulus. Hell, if anything, I've seen more promos for films like Elio and Tron Ares than I did for this movie, which is really surprising to say the least. And I'm not seeing a lot of buzz outside of the Predator fan base, So again, I think it's going to start November on a positive note. I think, we'll definitely bounce back with this movie after the really lackluster October we've had. But yeah, I'm not sure if this is going to really like bring it, be the revival that the Predator franchise needs, because again, the lack of sufficient marketing and minimal buzz I've seen do seem to be hurting the film a bit. Again, not expecting a bomb or a flop or anything, but not expecting anything like too great either. But we'll see how well this movie truly does, as well as the rest of the movies that landed in the top 5 on the next Box Office Chat. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat. What did you all think of the results? Were you satisfied, unsatisfied? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all those social media links right there. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.